everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be a bit of a different one. It's not really to do with motherhood or parenting, and as you can tell from the title, it's to do with diet. So this video I'm going to be explaining why myself and my family have decided to go vegan. So first of all, two programs or shows on Netflix that I highly recommend, and to be honest are the main reason why we made these decisions, is watching these shows. So the first one is Seaspiracy and the other one is Cowspiracy, and they're both on Netflix. So like I said, I highly recommend watching them. Everything pretty much that I'm going to be talking about and the reasons why I and my family want to be vegan is all in them programs. I'm just like doing a kind of, narrowed, smaller version, shorter version. Okay, so and also if I'm like kind of whispering slightly, it's because my daughter's napping right now and she's just in the next room. I've written down kind of some points that I want to make. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. And also this video, I'm not, I don't want it to come across as if I'm telling you that you should be vegan, and I don't like people that aren't vegan. I mean, I'm almost 25 and we've just made these decisions. My partner's 25 as well. And yeah, I mean, each to their own. Everyone has their own opinions. Everyone has their own, health. Like some people, might not be able to go vegan for health issues, or they just don't want to. There's so many reasons to why or why not. So I don't want to, cause any drama or anything. I'm just telling you my reasons. Okay, so let's talk about environmental reasons. I would say my reason for being vegan is 50-50, 50% environmental reasons and 50%, animal reasons, the welfare of animals. So yeah, let's just go through some environmental reasons why. So, and also I'm just talking about, what I've seen in this program. I don't know 100% if these things are true. This is just what I've seen, what I've read, but I'm not saying this is 100% true, so don't come for me. Okay, so nowadays we're seeing all these things about plastic. Don't use plastic bags, don't use plastic straws, buy reusable cups, all these single-use plastics. Don't use bottles of shampoo, use shampoo bars, all these different things. And of course this is very important. There's 7 or 8, I can't remember how many billion people on earth, and if we're all using these single-use plastics and throwing them away into landfill, of course it's going to build up massively. And even if you recycle, a lot of the times things don't get recycled. I don't know the ins and outs of that, but that's what I've heard. But there is a much larger issue that is not being addressed for reasons that I don't know. And it is that the actual main problem and reason that there is plastic in our oceans isn't from these single-use plastics. It is from fishing equipment. So fishing nets, buoys, all sorts of things. I don't know 100% the percentages. You'd have to look back at the programs, but it was around 70% of the ocean's plastic is because of fishing. So what can we do about this? The most obvious solution is to not eat fish. So to stop the fishing industry. That's, obviously not going to happen, or not going to happen very soon. In Seaspiracy, they did say if we continue eating fish how we are now, we're probably not going to be able to continue past 2048 anyway. So we've got about 20 years. So the way I see it, why not just stop now, to be honest? We're gonna have to stop at some point. So why not stop now and make a head start on saving our oceans? So yes, of course, I mean, I use shampoo bars. I try not to use like plastic forks and plastic straws. But even if we all did that and all stopped using them things, the main problem would still be the fishing. There would still be 70% of the plastics left in the ocean, killing all of our animals or all of our sea creatures. So yeah, that's one very important thing to think about, and that is one of the main reasons I'm not eating fish. That's where I first started off. We were like, okay, we're not going to eat any fish to combat this problem. Another thing is bycatch. So a lot of the ways that the fishing industry catches their fish is obviously they have these absolutely humongous nets that scrape along the ocean floor and pick up all of the sea creatures. But the statistics are that to catch one tuna fish, they kill around 10 sharks. So if you imagine you've got this, they just chuck this massive net in. One, it's scraping along all the ocean floor. So all of the algae, the plants, the coral, all of the crabs and everything that's in that ocean, they're just bulldozing it and killing it off. A lot of it to not come back again. And another thing is they can't see what they're catching. So I suppose they know that, oh yeah, there's some tuna in this area. We're going to scoop up everything. And what they do is they scoop it up, they pick out what they want, and they chuck back everything else that they didn't want. And, you know, it's all pretty much dead, and they're just chucking it back in the ocean. So, you know, sea turtles, sharks, you know, I don't know, everything else, orcas and dolphins, all sorts. So we are killing all of these animals just to get a tin of tuna. You know, sometimes you need to look at the big picture. So that is another main reason why, again, we said, okay, we're not eating fish. That's how we started out. Another thing is the CO2 in our atmosphere, the carbon dioxide. So everyone thinks that the Amazon rainforest and all, you know, other rainforests and jungles are our main, I don't really know what the word is, but you know, everybody knows the trees in the rainforest, they suck up all of the carbon dioxide that isn't good for us, and obviously they put back out oxygen that we need. That is very true, but it's actually only about, I can't remember if it was about 20% of the carbon dioxide is absorbed by the rainforests. Where does that rest of the carbon dioxide go? In the ocean. The algae actually absorbs the most part of the carbon dioxide that's in our atmosphere. So what will happen if we start destroying our oceans or carry on destroying our oceans? Obviously we're going to start killing off the algae, and we are going to have more and more carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, which is obviously extremely harmful, and you know, there's going to be devastating consequences. So that's another very extreme reason why we need to protect our oceans and stop fishing and stop eating fish. Okay, so I already touched on the coral as well. So the last point about fish mainly is farmed fish. So you could say, okay, instead of doing the method where you chuck the massive net into the sea and scrape it all up and destroy everything, why don't we do farmed fishing, which we are doing? You know, they have these massive tanks or bits, you know, that contain all the fish. And so, yeah, they're raising the salmon, the tuna, the trout, haddock, whatever. What ends up happening though is these fish are contained, and so, you know, they're living, they're obviously producing feces and things like that, and they're ended up, it's like if you had a massive fish tank with thousands of fish in there, the water's going to get dirty. It's going to get contaminated with the feces and you know, all other things. And what ends up happening then is these fish end up getting diseased and and you know, you get parasites and all this kind of thing, and they're just swimming in this disgusting contaminated waters, and we are eating that. You know, you have the packaging on, you know, like farmed salmon, making out like it's so good and they're charging you extra money, when it's actually just really, if you watch the Seaspiracy, you'll see it's gross. So another reason why not to eat fish, even if you don't care about the environmental issues. Once you see the diseased fish that you're eating, it's not nice. Okay, so I'm going to try and hurry up because it's already been 10 minutes, but there's just so much to touch on. So now let's talk about farming. So why not to eat any other animals, you know, cows, pigs, chickens. So the main reason that so much of our land and so much of our forests and trees and that are being cut down is to have land to raise cattle, to raise pigs, to raise you know, the food that we eat, the animals that we eat. Also, they need land to grow the crops that they need to feed these animals. So, I mean, obviously, the more and more people that are being born and the more people that are eating meat, the more and more land and trees and you know, things that we need to chop down and destroy to make room to raise or feed these animals. Well, what is the issue here is obviously our planet is completely overpopulated, and already we don't have enough land to do this. We don't have enough room. We can't keep going on like this. Basically, it's not sustainable at all. We're just destroying every last bit of our planet, and our lands and forests and trees to raise these animals. And it's going to have to stop at some point because there's just going to be too many of us. And you know, I don't know if you've seen, but the way these animals are being treated, because we don't have enough land, they're getting squished into these pens and these enclosures where they can't even lie down, they can't move, they can't turn around. They are literally tortured to death. And yeah, it's going to end bad for everyone, basically. Again, talking about land, I'm going to talk about land comparisons. So how much land would you need to grow crops if you're a vegan? How much would you need if you're a vegetarian? And how much would you need if you were omnivorous? I'm pretty sure that's how you call it. You know, you eat everything. So I can't remember the exact square feet or how much it is, but you need just a small piece of land if you're a vegan, because obviously you just need your crop, your plants, your vegetables and your fruits, and your pulses and grains, etc. To be a vegetarian, you're going to need double that land, because obviously you need some animals to, you know, get milk from to make your cheese and your milk and your yogurts, and you obviously need to raise your chickens so you can have your eggs, etc. So you need double the land that a vegan would need. Sorry, I'm just adjusting myself here because I'm getting a dead leg. To be an animal eater and, well, you know, an omnivorous, I'm pretty sure that's the right word, I'll edit it if it's not, but to be omnivorous, you need 18 times the land that a vegan would need, because obviously you need to raise all of these animals, plus your plants, plus your vegetables and fruits and pulses and grains and things. And that's just for, like, if you're imagining like one small family. So how can we do that? How can we do that when there's 8 billion people on this earth? We can't do it. There's just, again, like I said before, there's just not enough room. Another thing to think about is, if you are a vegan and you're just growing fruits and vegetables, you can grow upwards. So they have started to make these types of things where you have like levels, because obviously to grow fruits and vegetables you just need soil, so you can literally make like levels and build upwards with all your fruits and vegetables. That's perfectly fine. Obviously I don't know if you need some elevator or steps, or I don't know the ins and outs of how they make it, but the end of the story is you can build upwards. You can't do that with animals. I mean, you can't build upwards and have animals in the blue and sky. So yes, I mean, it just makes such sense to stop eating animals and fish, basically. Right, so that's pretty much it kind of for the kind of environmental reasons. I mean, there's so many more. Oh, one more thing I want to touch on actually about the oceans is it's also affecting our seabirds. So obviously the food that the seagulls and all them kind of birds need is disappearing. So it's not just our fish and our sea creatures that are disappearing, it's also starting to affect you know, birds and things. So that's another thing to think about. Okay, and then so that's kind of the main reasons why we decided we don't want to eat fish anymore, because our oceans just can't handle it, and it's just not sustainable, it's not doable anymore. And again, with the rest of the animals, we just don't have enough room, we don't have enough land, there's too many of us. Basically, that's it. There's too many of us on this planet now. You know, thousands of years ago, when we were just cave people, of course we could go out and hunt animals, and there was no problem because we were just the minority. So there was you know, it was part of nature. We were in balance. But now humans have completely gotten rid of that balance, and we are just pushing this earth to the maximum, and it just can't do it anymore. And so obviously the other part of it is the animals. You know, these poor animals. It just makes me so sad to think about these poor innocent animals. They haven't done anything wrong. Obviously, as I said just a minute ago with the cavemen and the balance, and animals are supposed to kill animals. Animals are supposed to eat animals. That's the cycle of life. But one, there's ways to do it. I mean, the way we are treating these animals for their whole lives, it's just not the same as a lion quickly killing a deer, and also that is the animal's only option. I mean, a lion, its only option is to eat and kill the animals that are around him, otherwise he's going to die. We have so many more options now, all of these different foods that we can get from all over the world, that we don't need to eat meat anymore. So if we don't need to, why do it? Why kill these animals when we will be perfectly healthy? Now we have access to all these different foods from around the world. Before we wouldn't have been able to access certain foods that are in South America, or certain foods, but now we have access to everything. So we can have such an amazing, varied diet without needing to kill these poor innocent animals. As I said, their whole lives they're being mistreated, they're being tortured, and it's just awful. If you, like I said, watch these documentaries, it's just so sad to see. And not just the way they kill these animals for meat, but also the way they treat the animals for dairy and milk and eggs and things. The reason we decided to go from, because first of all we thought, okay, we're going to go vegetarian, but then the way we saw how these animals were being treated for the dairy products just broke our hearts. The way their poor teats were just bleeding from being milked constantly for days with no break, it was just horrific. I don't want to go too much into it. You guys, there's so many documentaries and things out there for you to watch if you want to. But yeah, can't deny just how horribly we treat these animals that we are supposed to coexist with on this earth. So yeah, I hope this wasn't too long, 20 minutes. I had quite a bit that I wanted to explain and talk about. But yes, so they are the main reasons why myself and my partner have decided to go vegan. We have a daughter which we're also going to raise as a vegan. You know, when she gets older, if she doesn't want to be a vegan, you know, that's fine, it's her decision. We're just doing what we think is best for our planet and for our animals, and you know, we're going to make sure to have a very healthy, varied diet, so we're not going to have any problems there. And yeah, so if you were considering becoming a vegetarian or vegan, or you're just thinking about it, or you're just interested, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it wasn't too preachy or too forceful, but yeah, thank you very much for watching, like I said, and I will see you in my next video. I'm also, you know, my next videos aren't going to be so serious, they're going to be more like my usual mum type videos, and I'm planning on doing a few what I ate in a day videos for myself and for my daughter as vegans now. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for watching again. Bye bye.